Hello, hello, beautiful people. Happy Motivational Monday. Drop in the chat one word to describe how you're feeling today, or maybe how you're feeling about this week. I'm curious. Excited. Aw, wait, I love this. We're feeling ready. We're feeling motivated. We're feeling excited. We're feeling energized for the short work week. How am I feeling? I'm feeling a lot of things. I think the crux of what I'm feeling is renewed and excited. I'm back home, I'm back on the East Coast. I finished filming this docu-series that I was flown out to California for. That was really, really cool and really exciting. It's nice to be back home. It's nice to be cuddling with my dogs. There was snow when I landed. We don't often get snow in North Carolina or Western North Carolina that much, but especially not really in November. But we got it, which is really fun. I got off the plane and I was like, this feels like snow weather because I'm from upstate New York. So, like the cells in your body just know that it's snow time. It's either go time or it's snow time, baby. Okay, so let's get started with Motivational Monday. We had a really great conversation last week. Drop 111 in the chat if you really enjoyed last week's conversation. I personally really loved it, and I felt like it was so relatable to so many of you, the difference between stress and overwhelm. So, I never really have a full plan for Motivational Monday. I very much, when I'm working in a group and when I'm working with people, and when it's a journey of what can I bring to the table that's going to help people grow, I feel into the overall growth. So, I haven't had like this full 12-week schedule. There's been the availability for us to have a lot of growth in between that and a lot of space for us to figure out what our next steps are, right? So after our conversation last week, there was a lot of feedback that it was so relatable to so many of you. You brought it up in your organizations, you were talking to the people that you work with about it. They were having the same exact reflections back to you of, oh my gosh, yeah, that these are conversations that really matter. So I felt like we did a really good job of intellectualizing stress and overwhelm last week. And I felt like it was really important for us to have a conversation about how to actually navigate stress and overwhelm and practical tools that you can bring into your life to allow yourself the space to have more ease and have more peace in your life. Because there's a cardinal rule to life, and it's that we're always going to have stresses come up. Things are always going to be unexpected. We live in this beautiful mystery thing that we get to call life. But what that means is that there is absolutely no way that we can control everything that's happening in the world around us. And to think that we can would be a very silly idea. However, I feel like a lot of us feel like we can, or we have this inner desire to think that we can control and conquer everything. Drop 222 in the chat if that might be you. I've lived there before. I've really had to learn how to surrender. I've really had to learn how to chill. I've really had to learn that the only thing that I have control over in my life is me and the way that I show up and the way that I respond to things. So when I had that realization, what did that mean? That meant that I had to find the ways to develop the skill set within myself to make myself more resilient and to make myself better equipped to handle the surprises that life throws at us. If the only thing that I can control is myself, then that means that the only place that I can grow is within myself, right? So I've done a lot of nervous system regulation work. I've done a lot. And do any of you know what nervous system regulation is? Drop 333 in the chat if you don't know what nervous system regulation is. Perfect. Ooh, so many juicy conversations. Okay. So is that ASMR? I think your wife might have a TikTok about that or something. But So with that, nervous system regulation, I can only go into a teeny tiny bit in this conversation because we only have 15 or 20 minutes here. However, I'm like so excited about the thought of having actual conversations about our nervous systems that we absolutely will do a future episode on that in a deeper sense. But basically what your nervous system is it's your body's regulation system to handle everything that happens in and out of your life. So there is a window of tolerance that we have in our nervous system, which is where like we operate at our baseline and where we aren't too stressed and we're not too bored. We just are operating at this base level. And the window of tolerance is the things that are in this window are the things that we can actually handle and that we're equipped to handle and that don't make us feel wild and crazy and stressed and overwhelmed or underwhelmed or paralyzed or distracted. It's the in between, right? So that's where our nervous system likes to be. However, our nervous system has survival mechanisms in it, which activate when we're stressed and when we're overwhelmed. We've got pretty primal bodies. We're still operating with pretty primal systems. So these systems were meant to be used during actual fight or flight, like when we're going in for the kill, when we're hunting, if we're like cave people, right? Or if we're going to war and things like that. However, we don't necessarily do those things as like normal day-to-day humans anymore. However, we do still experience stresses and our body still responds to the stresses around us. So when you develop a capacity within your nervous system to be able to handle more of life, of the situations that life throws at you, your window of tolerance becomes bigger and your ability to stay calm, cool, and collected when all the craziness is happening around you becomes greater. A lot of us have not been taught this, so a lot of us walk through the world pretty freaking stressed out. Drop 444 in the chat if you're like, oh, okay, I might be one of those people who's pretty stressed out and I don't necessarily know my window of tolerance. I used to be that. The reason why I have the awareness that I do and why I teach what I do is because I realized that the level of stress that I was living in every single day was so unnecessary. And I was like, wow, I can actually be happy. I can actually be peaceful. And my main priority in life is pleasure. My main priority is to enjoy my life. And that doesn't mean that hard things aren't going to come, but it's a reminder of like what actually brings me pleasure and peace. What are the things that I can control? What are the things I can't control? So when it comes to stress, we feel stress when we evaluate environmental demand as beyond our ability to cope successfully. This is Brene Brown's definition. When we evaluate environmental demand as beyond our ability to cope successfully. So what we learned last week about stress and overwhelm is that they're perceptions. And the beautiful thing with perceptions is that we can change our viewpoints, right? We can focus, we can unfocus, we can change the viewpoint, we can switch out the lens. So what we're doing with developing these practical tools is we're switching out the lens and we're giving ourselves a different viewpoint on stress and overwhelm and on the ways that we can handle them. Because a lot of the times we feel out of control. And once you start to get control of the way that your body feels and handles and perceives things, the easier things become. Because navigating stressors is a daily part of life. Overwhelm is an extreme level of stress and emotional and/or cognitive intensity to the point of feeling unable to function. So in getting ready for this episode, I learned a lot of things. I started doing some research. There's upregulation of your nervous system and there's downregulation of your nervous system. When you're stressed, you feel this intensity, this anxiety. We might feel our heart racing. We might have thoughts going out of control. We might feel our blood pumping. We might feel just this intense sensation of like everything is happening right here and right now, and I must solve it. Overwhelm is when you feel like you're unable to function and it kind of paralyzes you. So the ways that we deal with stress and overwhelm are actually really different. So we're going to talk about a couple of different things that we can do for both. Um, the stress, you are brought up to a new state of feeling. Overwhelm, you're brought down where you can't even navigate anything else. So this is our window of tolerance right here, right? Stress, we're above it. We're feeling a lot. Overwhelm, we're actually feeling so much that we don't even know what to do anymore. So how do we build a window of tolerance so that we can handle more stresses and more overwhelm, but still be able to feel like we have control over our own lives, right? I need water. These conversations get me hot and excited because they're the conversations that matter the most to me, because people are really struggling out there and I know it and I see it and I look in people's eyes and I'm like, we can do better for ourselves. And that's why it was really cool coming to LifeGuides and being like, let's do Motivational Monday, because these are the conversations that matter. And hopefully from here, you get to start feeling stress in your life and being like, okay, there's an actual tool that I can employ here. So most of us are, which one? Put 555 in the chat if you feel like you deal mostly with stress. Put 777 in the chat if you feel like you deal mostly with overwhelm. Okay, cool. We have probably more of a balance than I expected, which makes me really, really, really happy. So we'll talk a little bit about how to navigate stress and practical tools, and we'll talk a little bit about how to navigate overwhelm and practical tools for those. And these sessions are always recorded. So every Monday when I send the reminder email that we're having this conversation, you'll also always have last week's recording in your email as well. Just so you know, just a friendly little reminder. Okay. So if we're stressed, we're going to talk about stress first, right? We are heightened at this point. We're feeling a lot. Our mind is racing. There's too much to do, and the weight of the world is crushing us, and we don't know what to do from here. So we need to bring ourselves back down. And that's how we're going to down regulate ourselves. So some of the things that are really wonderful for down regulating ourselves are, and I've got a couple of different tools that I'm going to actually show you, but we'll run through some of them quickly. Maybe you're taking notes, whatever you're doing. Box breathing, I will take you through a moment of box breathing. Journaling, I will take you through some journaling prompts as well. Sleeping is huge. Some of you are so stressed and overwhelmed because you don't sleep. You don't prioritize your sleep. You're scrolling on social media. You have all those Blu-rays. We've had these conversations already, so I'm not going deep into those. Some of you, prioritizing your sleep will change the game. There's so much I could say. I can't even go more into that because I've got other things to say. Eating healthy, hydrating, aromatherapy, and mantras. So those are some things that are really great for down regulating. And we're going to do a practice that you can do literally anywhere. I I definitely know what stress and overwhelm feel like within me personally, and a lot of the times I'll do box breathing. If I have to step into a conversation that makes me nervous, I'm stressed. So usually I'm box breathing before any important conversation so that I can chill myself out and regulate myself and be grounded and able to have a clear and cohesive conversation. So this is box breathing. Drop 888 in the chat if you've heard of box breathing or if you've used box breathing. It's such a great practical tool. Box breathing is you inhale for a count of 4, you hold for a count of 4, you exhale for a count of 4, and you hold for a count of 4. So you're bringing your body into full balance. Count of 4 inhale, count of 4 hold, count of 4 exhale, count of 4 hold. And Joanna uses it right before bed. It's perfect. It's so good. You can use it right when you wake up. You can use it if you hear something from a family member where you're like, I didn't want to hear that today. Whatever. So we are going to take a moment just to do box breathing so that you can feel what that feels like in your body and have a sense of what it feels like to relieve yourself of stress. Even right here, right now, Monday morning, you might have some stresses. So starting to shut your eyes. We're going to do this one quick and with intention and with purpose. So be present while doing this. We're going to shut our eyes. We're going to inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4. Opening your eyes back up. Feeling your body a little bit more settled, feeling your mind a little bit more settled. It can be just as easy as that. Box breathing is so easy and practical. You can do it anywhere. Say you have to go to the bathroom and practice box breathing for a minute. Your life just got instantly better. Another tool I have for you as well are some journaling prompts. I would take a screenshot of this or write some of them down or whatever you need to do. For me, sometimes my mind is going so fast and nothing's actually tangible and concrete. And it's just like all of these thoughts swirling around. As soon as I write it down, it becomes real and it becomes clear and it becomes concrete, and I can start to see solutions. So, journaling about what's causing me to feel stressed right now. What are some small steps I can take to alleviate my stress? Are my worries realistic? List 5 good things that have happened lately. Write to your greatest supporter. These are great journal prompts for stress because it'll get you out of this like roller coaster ride and it'll get you into your own groundedness. So those are some 2 realistic tools for dealing with stress. Obviously, I talked about a lot of others, and those are going to be important for you to implement as well. However, in a 15 to 20-minute call, your girl has very limited time, and we're going to talk about overwhelm. So we have our window of tolerance here, and we're overwhelmed. We are operating. We can't even operate anymore. We can't function. We can't feel. We don't know what's happening. We're just like paralyzed. So that's where we upregulate. We re-regulate back up into our ability to actually move and make movement. That's where things like going to work out are incredibly important. I was in a nervous system paralysis for a little bit, and working out every day got me out of it. Working out is huge. Going for a walk is huge. Even things like cold plunging are going to shock your body into a state of movement and into a state of actual making change, right? So those are the things that are going to get you out of overwhelm. First, we talked about this last week. Doing nothing is going to be really important for you you need to give yourself that moment of nothingness. Nothing at all. Let yourself reset, let yourself cohere, give yourself some space, and then decide, okay, I'm going to take a 5-minute walk. You don't have to be like, I'm going to take an hour-long walk. If you're overwhelmed, and stressed, make things as small and as easy as possible so that you just start doing it. Whenever I am doing something that I know overwhelms me and that I want to be paralyzed about, I give myself a 5-minute timer and I only do it for 5 minutes. And if I want to continue doing it, I will. But if I don't, I did that thing and I feel good. Usually I want to continue doing it. So, those are some ways to navigate, some real ways to navigate your stress and your overwhelm, actual tangible things that you can do for yourself that are going to get you to a state of feeling more calm, more balanced, more at ease within yourself. This is huge. And I just love these conversations because it gives you the ability to start to see that you are more in control of your life than you could have thought that you were. So how was this? Let me know in the chat if this was helpful for you. Drop 999 in your chat. Also, I don't know if I would suggest box breathing for overwhelm. But there are other, like, I would probably do breath of fire if I was overwhelmed, like something very stimulating. And you might not know breath of fire. You can just look it up on YouTube. This is from Atlas of the Heart by Brene Brown. That's mainly what we're talking about during this series. This conversation was just me teaching a lot of my own practices. So thank you all for being here. We are a couple of minutes over. It's been a big, full, juicy conversation. Talking about and intellectualizing the things are great so that we have an awareness, but bringing them into our body and actually taking action and giving ourselves practical tools is where change starts to get made. So thank you all for being here on this beautiful Monday. It is a pleasure, as always, being a part of Motivational Monday and supporting you on your journey. My hope is that you have, if for those of you who celebrate holidays this week, that it goes easy and smoothly. And if you need to take a break, you know how to take a break. And if you are feeling a lot, you know in which ways you're feeling a lot and how you can grow. So I just dropped our Linktree chat, our Linktree link in the chat. All of our links for everything are there. You can schedule your first guide call. You can watch our recordings, all of that. And then this is where you will register for your very first guide call with LifeGuides. If you guys experience stress and overwhelm on an everyday basis and coming to these Monday conversations with me is helpful for you, imagine how helpful it'll be with someone who can actually have a dialogue with you and who can give you tools based on you and your life that are actually going to help you grow and evolve into the person that you've been looking to become. So happy holidays. I will see you all next week. I'm not sure what we'll be doing next week. It'll be a surprise for all of us. There's a survey that pops up after this. Please fill that out. Let me know how you're feeling, how you're flowing. And it has been a pleasure as always. I will talk to you soon. Have a beautiful Monday.